Hey everybody. On today's episode of TTS Today, I'm going to be covering sales analysis reporting. We've been getting a bunch of requests on how my salesmen can run their own reports for by customer, by vendor. So we're going to cover that today in the sales analysis tab. Sales analysis reporting. We have a lot of information on the sales analysis tab today. We're just going to cover the reports. In the future, we will cover how to import data using also how to manually import. But today we want to do reporting. So clicking on the sales analysis tab and then going down to sales analysis reports, you notice we have two different reports, a detail and an executive. So the detail basically is going to give you a more detailed, for lack of a better name or description, reporting. So you can report by customers, for instance. You can report by vendors. You can totally reports. You can add commissions. So the three types of reports that we include are sales report 12-month, and sales report 3-year with a month comparison. The most commonly used report is going to be your sales report. This lets you sort by vendor and customer. Also lets you choose a total only. So if you don't need as detailed a report, you can just total it. If you have divisions set up in your for your customers, you can separate by different divisions, and then months. So going back, well, let's generate a report for January. If you want to use the current month, you just click on the current month. You can include sales and commissions. So by the way, everything below this line is going to be your criteria for all these three reports. And we'll talk about these save reports in a little bit. So if I only want to see sales, we'll keep that checked. If I want to see this year versus last year, we can choose that. So let's go back 1 year. Vendors, we can choose all. They all default. All these options default to all, but if I want to pick and choose a specific vendor, just like all the other screens, I could just start typing like NS and it'll filter NSI, for instance. If I want to choose a specific customer, I can do that. Or if I just want to view all of them, click back on all, by state, by divisions. Again, these are all set up by the customers. Actually, I'm going to have another video that explains what all these do in the customer file in the data files tab. But for now, we're just going to leave everything to all. Territories, again, these can be built in the customer section, groups, and vendor groups. And if you want to see customers with 0 sales, right now, by default, we just don't include anything with a $0 amount. But if you want to see that for whatever reason, you can click on this. Now I'll choose it. So let's actually run a report for NSI, sales only, vendor. I'm going to keep this the way, and you click on the word reports, sales reports, sales report, sales report to generate a report. And right on screen, you'll get instantly, and this one was for NSI, and for 2021, we get all that data. And you'll notice down at the bottom, you do have a subtotal. Or a total for that matter on this particular one, and the different columns again, March sales 2021. So it'll always give you 2 years. So I started at 21 and we went back 1 year. It'll give you a percent change over those 2 years. Year-to-date sales. So if we chose March, obviously it'll give you January, February, and March data, and it'll give you year-to-date sales from that same period for the previous year. And then the percentage change, total sales for the current year and for the year prior, because that's what we chose. Up at the top, you'll notice we have a couple of options here. Download to Excel, as all our reports do. Download columns. So if you're not that familiar with Excel, we give you the ability to choose what columns you want to include. So if I want to generate an Excel report, but I don't need a percent month change, I don't even need 2020, so I can get rid of all those 2020s. Download to Excel. The report that's generated is going to include just the columns that you selected. Of course, you could include all of them, and you can edit Excel on your own if you'd like. And just to show you, so it just gave us what we needed in a nice, simple format. that you can edit and change. Now we're in regular Excel, so you can filter, you can do any manipulation on these reports as you see fit. All right, let's close this window. Moving over, a graphical view. So if you actually wanted to view this in a graph, we give you the ability to do that as well. So you can choose graphical view, and it will give you all the options. NSI, we'll graph our selection. And this is a column chart. You can get a line chart. We can choose the direction. So a bar chart, I'm sorry, was the first one. Column chart is the next one. We can actually adjust the width. So if I want to make this a little bit larger, might be easier to see. A combo chart, a pie chart. If you wanted to choose March sales. Let's see if we can get a pie chart out of here. All right. So it gives you the percentage for all the different customers. Do this in Excel as well, but we try to make it a little easier for you if you want to see these in Excel. So by the way, by default, all users do not have the ability to see their commission data or sales data. That's something that the administrator in your organization or we can help you do. So, but let's say a salesman wants to see his information, and we can set it up so they can only see their sales information. So again, I'm going to choose vendor, choose sales. I can choose commissions at this point. We'll do 2021. And right next to it, we can actually choose the salesman. So the previous report showed all salesmen and gave us a total. So it didn't break it out. But if I only wanted to see for one particular salesperson, again, this is the detailed section too. We're going to get into the executive reporting in a little bit, where you can actually break out and see the breakouts by each salesman. So I could choose Matthew, inside salesman, if you had an inside salesman on there. Again, I could choose any manufacturer if I want. By the way, clicking on these buttons, I can choose multiple. Okay. So then they don't have to be next to each other. So if I wanted to see NSI, priority wire, let's say, I would just click on those two. Click on view selected. So now I know that's a report for them. Current month, let's go back to January. Went to 2021. Let's do a totals only this time. So now it's going to show me the totals. I didn't have any data for one of the manufacturers, so it just shows me the totals. It doesn't break out by customer. Now, this is going to be very similar to how the sales report executive look. It'll give you a total of a vendor in this instance. Okay, so going back to detail, what other options do we have? If I wanted to separate by divisions, we talked about that. So let's actually go over and run a sales report of 12 months. So this is going to be a 12-month comparison. It'll show all 12 months on the screen at once. And I did it for everything. Notice I didn't choose any selections, but here we have January, February, March, April, May, June, July. That's all the data we have in there. It gives us the totals at the bottom. So you can easily compare right on the screen, you know, the entire year, basically. And again, you can download to Excel and you can choose to graph this if you want. So going back, what other options do we have in there? We can do totals only, include 2 years. And let's break it out by customer this time. We'll keep everything all, and we'll just get a little different view. So now you'll see the customers, and you'll notice in here, if you had data for a previous year, 2021, 2022, so it shows them all on one line. So a nice, easy way to get a quick snapshot of your whole year up to, it's a year-to-date report, so it's actually showing you up to the current month, as you see here. And then the last one is your sales report for 3-month comparison. 3-year month comparison. So that will give you 3 years of data. So it goes all the way back to 2020, 2021. Since I didn't select anything, it's going back 3 years prior to the current year you're running the report. All right. The last thing I want to show you on this particular detailed report, and then we'll get into the executive report, is going to be our saved reports. So let's say every month you're doing the same reports. It's going to be, you know, it's great for a specific salesperson. So Matthew is always running a report for himself. The date will hold true. So if I choose 2021 and I save the report, it'll always be 2021, but you can change it. The key here is, let's say I'm only choosing a couple of manufacturers, a couple of customers, doing all the Aaron supplies, for instance. Aaron supply. So I can check all the Aarons. I don't want to have to do this each month, right? Wouldn't it be nice if I could save that report? And that's exactly what this does. So I want the Aaron supplies. Everything else I'm going to leave the same. It's for Matthew. So I can do save selection. And I can name it. So I want to call this Aaron. And then this is going to be 2021. Again, this can be changed, and I have a couple different customers, and it's Matt. And I'll click save. Also, it asks you which report. So if I want it in the sales report, the sales by month, comparison, or a 3-year comparison, let's just keep it as a sales report, and I'll click save. And it tells us that it was saved. So now if I go back out, come back in, and I was like, oh no, I want to run that Aaron report. So that was 2021 Aaron and Matt. Click on that. So notice it selects Matt, selects 2021. And if I needed 2019 or 2020, I can just choose that there. Because remember, it does choose it, but I'm just one selection. I don't have to go back in and make all these different criteria selections. And then run report. And there it goes. Gives me that report instantly. And I have all the same options. So that is how to save a report. And basically the detailed reports section in the TTS system. So the next part, we're going to talk about the sales reports for the executive. See you in that one. Okay, the last report under sales analysis is executive sales reports. Very simple. Only a couple of options, so you can choose your vendors and vendor groups if you have them set up. It will give you a summary of all salespeople if you want, or each individual salesperson. So we'll leave that set up the way it is. Vendor sales summary. You can sort by divisions. And again, they give you the options down at the bottom here. So let's choose 2021. And again, if we want to select a vendor, but if I want to see basically the vendor sales, again, it's an executive report, so it's going to give you a total of all the sales for each vendor. Very simple. It's not going to break it out by customer. So let's just choose this one. Let's go back to January. So real simple. You see your January 2021, it goes back a month. It will give you the year-to-date information as well and percentages, and you can export this to Excel if you need to, and do a graphical view as well. But it gives you a real simple basic report. It's basically for January of 2021, what did we do? Okay. Taking that the next step if you want to do it by salesperson. So we'll keep this back to January. We'll choose everything 2021. Salesperson summary. By the way, if I drop this down, I can choose an individual salesman, but I want to see all. And then it'll give a breakout by vendor for each salesperson. So Matthew AAA, that was his sales for January 2021. Nick AAA gives you his sales. So breaks out all of the different salespeople and gives you a nice summary report. And the last type of report that you can run on here is going to be a sales report data dump. And all that is basically taking every bit of sales data that you have imported into the system, whether manually or through a mapping program, and put it on an Excel sheet for you. So this is a way to get a backup. If you want all your data and you want to do the manipulation yourself, this is what this report does. It basically gives you all the information, all the data for all customers and all vendors, or since you've been importing data into the system. Download it to Excel and you have this information. You can do all your manipulation any way you like. And that's it. That's reporting in the TTS system. So thanks for those questions. Again, this was a question that was asked. How do my salespeople run their own reports? So hopefully this helps you. get this across to everybody in the organization. And as always, please send in more questions. Ask TTS today at tradetechsolutions.com, and we'll be sure to answer it on the next video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.